Ledger lines, the answer to more notes. As the need to notate music precisely grew, musicians faced the challenge of creating a universal system to accurately represent the sounds that we hear in music. The eventual solution was the 5-line staff system, with additional smaller lines known as ledger lines. These ledger lines extend the staff higher or lower, as shown in the image. So here you can see an example of 2 ledger lines. We have one on top of the 5-line staff system. This ledger line could be used to show essentially that 11-line staff system we saw in the previous lesson, how it could be extended. But by shortening the lines and making them smaller, it makes it easier to see that's actually a 6th line in the system. Same thing with below the staff system. You can use ledger lines both above and below. Makes it easier to read music. Imagine trying to read an 11-line staff system. Shown here in this image, the angst is palpable. The treble clef loop still hovers around the G line. Let's take a look at that. You see your treble clef, and you have your loop right here. It is still revolving around this G line. So this line here is still G. And if we count down from G, we've got F, E, this would be D. Now that's very confusing. So ledger lines solve this problem of confusion because there's too many lines here in the staff system. Imagine how confusing this would be to read without a structured system. The solution that was come up with was to use a 5-line staff system, which allows many notes to be kept within the staff system. For notes above and below, we use different clefs and ledger lines. This simple solution makes it easier to read notes that fall outside the staff. In the 5-line system, the same notes from the 11-line system are written using ledger lines. We can see that here. So here's your 11-line system. Very confusing to read. If you didn't have those note names, it would take you a while to probably figure out what those notes actually are. Here is what it looks like when it's simplified in a 5-line system. So you can see it's much simpler to read. At the end of this section, we will enhance our activity from part 1 with some additional exercises to help you learn to read ledger lines. Can you find middle C on the staff system in the image? Knowing that the first line in the staff is an E, you can deduce that the C below the staff is our essential friend, middle C. So right here. We would be able to figure that out by counting backwards alphabetically. So we now know, because of those exercises we did, that the lowest line is an E. If we go backwards, we end up with D and then C. And this is where middle C is on the piano. If you had a bass clef, it would actually be above the bass clef. You'd use one ledger line above the bass clef. But we're going to learn all of this. It's going to become very clear.